Okay, welcome to MathPro by Bloom Academy. Okay, so this video is for students who have already done um, Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and just a review of system of equations. So it's not for beginners. Okay, so let's solve some problems here. So we want to solve, see this equation here, like 2x minus 4 equals 6. This is just only one variable, right? So we just solve it, just move over here, and x equals 5, right? Okay, so here we call it system because we have two unknowns, therefore we need two equations. Okay, if you have three unknowns, you need three equations and so forth and so on. So now we need to solve for one first and then solve for the other. Okay, so teaching you this is in case you are not allowed to use a calculator. Okay, so what do we do? So basically, so this is the simplest case. You have one of the variables y with the same coefficient but opposite in sign. This is negative, this is positive. Okay, so if you add negative 4 plus 4, what? You get 0 and it eliminates it. Okay, so this is called elimination. Okay, so what we do is straight up we add, we'll get 5x plus x, 6x, and then negative 4y plus 4y becomes 0, and then 40 plus negative 16 is 24. So 6x equals 24, then x equals 4. What do we do with the 4? If you remember, we put it in one of these equations, either the top or the bottom. Just learn to choose the simpler one. I'll choose this one, right? So I put 4, x equals 4, so 4 plus 4y equals negative 16. I solve for it, y equals negative 5, and that's my solution, x equals 4, y equals negative 5. Let's go over here, okay? So what do we see over here? We don't have any of the coefficients with the same value, with the same absolute value. So here we have x, we have just 1 here we have 5, and then here we have negative 6, and we have positive 3. But at least here the sign is negative here and here is positive, so we can focus on the y to eliminate it. And so what do? We multiply, if we multiply this by 2, this portion here, how do we convert 3y to 6? 3 to 6 is multiply by 2. But we have to multiply everything by 2. It becomes 10x plus 6y equals 2.5 times 2, right here, is 5. Okay, so this becomes that, and then of course we rewrite this one here. What do we do? Now we have opposite, the same coefficient but opposite values. Guess what? Now we add, we have 11x equals 22, x equals 2, and then you do it all over again. Come and put in one of the equations, which one is simpler for you? I'll choose the top one. And I'll find my y to be equal to negative 5 over 2 or negative 3.5, 2.5, sorry, negative 2.5. Okay, what about the third one? We have 6x. Okay, we have 6x, that's the main equation, 6x plus 3y equals 10, and then 4x minus 3y equals negative 1. So we don't have any of the coefficients of the same value. Okay, here again, we have the y's to be opposite signs, so we can focus on eliminating the y. So how do we turn 7 and 3 to the same value? We use the LCM. So remember, middle school, okay? LCM of 3 and 7 is 21. So we need to convert this 7 to 21 and then this 3 to 21. How do we do it? We multiply this by 3 and this by 7, but everything. So this top here becomes 18x plus 21y equals 30, right? And the bottom one becomes 28x minus 21y equals negative 7. We'll multiply everything by 7. Okay, so then what? We add, we have 46x equals 23, x equals half. And if you go back and plug it in one of these equations, you should get y equals 1. Cool? All right, let's move on. The next one is we have x equals 3y minus 2, and then 9y equals 4x minus 7. Now remember, we want to put everything in the standard form. So we need to rearrange this, right? Okay, we have the x and y should be on the left side. So here we move minus 3y. So x minus 3y will be left with negative 2 over here because negative 2. And then here, the 4x needs to come over here. We subtract, it will be minus 4x. So it's negative 4x. This is positive already, plus 9y equals what? What's left on this side is negative 7. So now you see it? We have it in the standard forms. What do you do at this point? Okay, what do? You can either multiply the top here by 4. In that case, you're going to end up with 4x minus 12y equals, going to have 4x minus 12y equals negative 8. You see that? Now the x's are opposite but the same value, the same coefficient but opposite signs. So you can add, if you add this, that goes away. Negative 12y plus 9y is negative 3y. And negative 7 plus negative 8 is negative 15. You solve for it, you get what? Y equals 5. Remember, negative 15 over negative 3 equals positive 5. And then what do you do with the y? You go and plug it in one of the equations, all right? X equals what? X equals 3 times 5 minus 2. And your x should be equal to 13. Cool? Okay. Let's move on to another one. Okay, we have what? We have 2x minus 4 over 3y. 2x minus 4 over 3y. Okay, is equal to negative what? 2. Sorry. Equal to 4. Sorry, it's equal to 4. Okay, so here you see that we have a denominator. We have a fraction in there. Okay, don't like fractions. We need to get rid of it, right? How do we get rid of this 3 over here so that we don't have any fractions? Okay, what do? We multiply every term, 1, 2, 3. We multiply every term by 3. Okay, so this whole thing times 3. When we do that, what do we get? 3 times 2x will be what? 6x, right? And then 3 times this 4 over 3, what happens? We get 4y, the 3 goes away, and then 3 times 4 is 12. So we have converted this portion here to that. And of course, this is still 3x minus 4y equals 6. So now what do we have? Okay, now you look at it, what do you have now? Okay, what do you have? You have 6x minus 4y equals 12 and 3x minus 4y equals 6. So we have here is the same coefficient, right? And also the same sign. So what are you going to do? So far we've been adding. You can either subtract negative 4y minus 4y, which becomes negative 4y plus 4y. You can either subtract, okay, or you can multiply one of them by negative 1, so you can change it. Okay, so if we divide to multiply this by negative 1, what happens? This becomes negative 6x, negative 1 times negative 4y becomes positive 4y, negative 1 times 12 becomes negative 12. So now we have converted one of them to the opposite sign. Okay, what do you do next? What do you do? Now you go back to what we've been doing. What you add, you eliminate one of them, you solve for the other. Okay, what do we have here? Okay, we have fractions. We don't like fractions, right? We don't like fractions. So what are we going to do? We are going to get rid of the fractions by using what? LCM. So the top one, what's the LCM of 3 and 2? LCM of 3 and 2 is 6. So we use the 6, right? We use the 6 to convert everything, right? It is 6 times x over 3, which is 6 divided by 3 times x, which is 2x. 6 divided by 2 times y, which is plus 3y. Okay, and then it's 6 times 4 is 24. And then we don't have any denominators. So we multiply 6, multiply every term by 6, and we get rid of it. Okay, the same thing over here. We have 3 and 6 as denominators. We use the LCM of 3 and 6. What is that? What is that equal to? Number 6. That's what we're going to use. That's what we're going to use, okay, to get rid of it. So we're going to multiply every term by 6. Every term by 6. Okay, so don't say LCM of 3 and 6 is either 12 or 18. No, no. Don't multiply the two. The simplest number, the least common multiple is 6. Okay, if we do that, what do we get? Okay, 2. 2 times 4, 2x is 4x. This and the 6 go away. So we have 1, so minus y, and then this times 6 equals 6. See that? We multiply every term by the least common multiple, and this is what we end up with. So now what do you have? You have the standard form of ax plus by equals c. Okay, now you follow the rules of, okay, what are you going to do? You need to eliminate either x or y. Okay, I look at it. If I multiply this here, if I multiply this by 3, I'll get 12x minus 3y equals 18. This one here. And of course, I can rewrite this 2x plus 3y equals 24. Now I have one of the variables of the same coefficient but opposite. I add, I get rid of it, and I solve, and I get x equals 3 or y equals 6. What about this one here? I have decimals. Okay, if you're comfortable with decimals, fine. If you're not, okay, so here, the first thing, this is in the standard form, 1.2x minus 0.0, okay, this is in the standard form, ax plus by equals c. This one is not. They've written the y first and the x second. So we just need to rearrange it. This is positive. So we just bring the 0.1x plus y equals 0.3. That's it. And then I just want to get rid of the decimal. So I'm going to multiply everything here, since it's only one decimal place. Multiply everything by 10. 1.2x becomes 12x, 0.8y becomes 8y, and 0.4 becomes 4. Okay? And then I do the same at the bottom here. 0.1x become 1x, which I just write x. Y becomes 10y, and 0.3 becomes what? 3. And I solve this, and I get what? Y equals what? 1 over 4. Y equals 1 over 4, and then, oops, and x equals 1 over 2. This should be your answers. What about this number 8? Okay, if you look at it, still not in the standard form. There's 4 multiplying the top, and then we have parentheses that we need to remove. If you multiply 4 by the top, it becomes 8x minus 4y. Okay, 4 times 2 is 8. 4 and then 12 equals 0. And then the bottom here is 2x plus 2y minus 3x. And then negative 3 times negative y becomes positive 3y. So be careful. Equals 6. After that, you rearrange it to the standard form. So the top becomes 8x minus 4y equals negative 12. And after you combine your like terms, 2x minus 3x is negative x plus 5y equals 6. After you combine your like terms, and then at this point, what? You want to eliminate one of them. Okay, probably you just want to multiply this here by 8. If you do that, you see this one becomes negative 8x. Okay, negative 8x plus 40y equals 48. If you do it right, your x should be equal to negative 1 and y should be equal to 1. Number 9. Okay, 13 plus 2y equals 9x, and then 3y equals 7x. So you look at it critically. Okay, this is when we come to the method of substitution. So you look at one of the equations. If you look at here, this part here, I can say this y value is y equals, you see that, 7 over 3x. Okay, that's the y from this equation from here. If I divide both sides by 3, y equals 7 over 3x. I come in place of the y, I substitute this value, 7 over 3. So 13 plus 2, instead of writing y, I write 7 over 3x equals 9x. So now you see I have only one variable, x. Okay, and I proceed to solve it. I subtract 14x from both sides. So 13 equals 9x minus 14 over 3x. Okay, so you have to know that 2 times 7 over 3 is equal to 14 over 3. 2 times 7 over 3. That's how I got this. Okay, how do I do this? 3 times 9, 27. 27 minus 14 is 13. So this whole thing, I combine it to be 13 over 3x. And then I solve for this equation, x equals 3. Once I get my x equals 3, what do I do? Okay, I know y. I go ahead and put it in the equation of this one here, that y equals 7 over 3x. Okay, so when I have y equals 7 over 3 times the x is 3, do not multiply the top first. Simplify. See these 3's here? They cancel, and cleanly your y equals 17, and you're done. And then the final one is you have 1 over 5 parenthesis x minus 3 equals 1 half y minus 7. Okay, I want to rewrite this here. It's the same as x minus 3 over 5. This is the same. And this is y minus 7 over 2. I cross multiply. This is what I have. And then I rearrange it to ax plus by equals c. And that becomes this one. Okay? And then, of course, we still have the second equation, 11x equals 13y. See, from here, if I divide both sides by 11, I have 11x equals 13 over 11y. What do I do with this? Okay, we have two equations. 2x minus 5y equals negative 29, and then x equals 13 over 11y. What do I do? I'm going to just use substitution. Wherever there is an x value, I'll put 13 over 11. 2 times 13 over 11 minus 5y equals negative 29. This is what you're going to solve, and then you should end up with x equals 13, y equals 11. All right, this was very fast. This is just a review. Okay, I'm going to assign you lots of exercises. Keep on practicing and practice and practice. Okay, right? Apply yourself very well, and all things being equal, you shall bloom. Welcome to Bloom Academy. All right, any questions, send it to me. Bye bye. Have a good day.